Hey, all you awesome parents. How do you get your kids to actually become the incredible adults and human beings you know they can become? You see their potential. How do you get them there and enjoy the whole process and journey that gets them there, right? How do you have that enjoyable experience and love those years of raising your kids and know like total certainty that they're going to become great adults? How do you get
Well,
there?
and actually be great kids along the way because you know they are great kids, although they don't always act like it, right? And how do you get them to reveal that greatness and to step into that greatness while they are children, while they're teens, and enjoy the daily chaos along the way, right?
So that parenting is actually fun and family life is fun. Rachel and I, we get to coach parents all around the world, and we know, and we've experienced it. Some days you don't want to be a parent, even though you have lots of kids. You're like, oh, and it can be hard. And you guys, we live in such a unique and crazy time with everything shifting from the COVID things that were happening in 2020 and shifting economies and shifting societies.
And education is shifting.
Yeah, the whole transformation that's happening there. And so the world is changing so fast. And how do we change? How do we adapt?
And change can be a great thing, but often when we're facing a lot of change, especially at once, we can feel overwhelmed, we can feel stressed, we can feel a little crazy, right? So, how do we manage all of this and make this time as a parent with our children a very special time and a powerful time that will lay a foundation for their future and our future relationship with them while helping them to become their best self?
And so you love it and they love it and life is enjoyable. We're going to give you some tools and strategies that are just proven. They just work. But first, let us introduce ourselves. We're Greg and Rachel Denning. We are the creators of the Extraordinary Family Life Formula. We have 7 awesome kiddos, and we have been traveling the world with our family. Our family thing is travel. We absolutely love travel. And so we've taken our kids so far to like 35 countries and traveling around the world having just an epic life experience. We love raising our kids. Our oldest is turning 18 this week, and our youngest is now 3. And so we want to share some tools, some principles, some practices, like systems and steps that you can start using today that we've been able to share literally on 5 continents and practice over all these years working with lots of wonderful families around the world. So I want to start with this idea that all the things we get to do and have to do as parents to be successful, they can fit in what we're going to compare to like a wheel, right? Maybe it's a wheel on a bicycle and you have all the spokes on there, so makes the wheel stay true and stay straight. Or maybe it's a vehicle wheel, right? You're driving down the road and your rear passenger tire goes flat, you're going to feel it. And even if everything else, the lights are all on, steering wheel works, the engine's running.
You got gas.
You got gas in there, but if that back tire is like clunk, 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 you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know.
It's going to make the journey and driving along, making progress, it's going to make it a lot more difficult.
Or miserable.
Yeah.
And so we're going to compare it to like a wheel that we understand that concept. Like, yeah, if we want to move along, we want to have efficiency and comfort, we got to have all those pieces in place.
And make progress.
And we're also going to take that same wheel idea and compare it to what's a flywheel. And we'll talk about that in a second here. So we can wrap our minds around this idea of creating momentum. And what are the parts and pieces? What are the ingredients that we have to have in place so that everything works really well? Because if there's one thing I've learned in like devouring personal development and human performance and studying families for over 2 decades, it's that we actually have to become really good at several things. We can't just be like, well, I can do that so well. If we only do 1 or 2 things, there's no way we're going to get anywhere near our full potential or help our kids reach their potential. Go, please.
Sorry. And we've all seen this play out in life. We've seen people who we admire and respect and who are really good at something, but mostly just that one thing. And then these other areas of their life really suffer. And while we admire them for that thing, it's even more powerful when you see someone who has all of the major important things handled well, right? When they are able to master the most important things in all areas of life, those are the people we truly admire. And those are what have been called high performers, or, I don't know, there's a lot of different things you can call them. But when you can learn to master all of the most important things in life, that's when you're essentially living this wheel of life fully, and you're able to progress. So you're not exceeding in business, or maybe in your church, but your family's falling apart, or your finances, or all these different things. We want to learn how to not just be good parents, but be good parents who are truly mastering life, so that we can be the best parents possible, because we become the mentor for our children in helping them to also master their wheel of life.
Oh, I love this stuff. Now, hold on. Some of you right now, you know this, right? We didn't say anything you don't know already. You're like, yeah, I have to do this and this and this and this. But as soon as we say those things, you start maybe going, that feels overwhelming. Like, come on, don't ask me to do more. I'm already drowning, right?
Because
Go.
This is how we roll. We already know what areas of life we're probably suffering in. Maybe it's our health and fitness, or maybe it's our finances, or maybe our business or our career, or maybe
it's the clutter and the
it's
chaos.
The marriage, or the messy house. And so to think about, I have to learn how to master all those things and do all those things well or better, improve them, seems overwhelming. And yet what we teach in our Extraordinary Family Life Formula is that actually learning to do those things well is like changing the flat tire. We think it's going to be hard. We think it's going to stop our progress. But once we do that, we change the tire, or we fix the spokes on the bike wheel, we are actually able to move quicker and easier through life.
And you guys, we end up helping ourselves. So just like if you're driving down the road, when you get that new tire on, things are smoother and faster and better. And so there's
less miserable.
And so instead of this crap, like, whoa, parenting,
how can I
ridiculous.
do any more? I'm already struggling so
much.
My
car won't go any faster. And because it's so rough. And we're like, no, make a couple of changes here, a few small adjustments. Because you guys, without knowing you, the fact that you're here, you're listening, you're making time for this, it tells us that you care. And I'm positive that you're a great parent. And we're going to offer a few proven principles and practices here that you tweak just a little bit, and you're like, whoa, we get to do more with less stress and less resistance. Wow. So what are those things? How do we do them? Actually, I'm going to ask you first. And if you have a notebook or a journal or something, a piece of paper, you can jot down some ideas. What are the major things that you have to work on, that you get to do or you have to do in order to really run your family well and to be an extraordinary parent? What are those parts and pieces? We came up with the 5 essential elements of the Extraordinary Family Life Formula are you, right? Because you got to be in your best place, right? You have to be taking care of you and do lots of self-care and make sure that you feel awake and energized and alive, that you sleep well. I know sometimes you'll go for years or decades without sleeping well. We have 7 kids. But you're sleeping well, you're eating well. You actually feel energy and you feel mental clarity. Some of us, we kind of get into this mental fog and this kind of exhaustion where we literally feel like we're just dragging ourselves through the day. Have you felt that before? And you're having a hard time making decisions. You have decision fatigue and you just have overwhelm. And you're just like, everyone's making demands on me and I haven't made any time for myself. So we feel like we're always chasing the day. We feel like we're always behind. And then we start to feel guilty if we make time for ourselves. But you are the most important piece of this whole thing. In your marriage has to be awesome and strong. You have to have that spark and that romance, the passion, the love and the connection where you guys can still be best friends so you can lead together. And then the two of you into your parenting, and then family culture and dynamics, the environment, and then family finances. Those are the 5 core, and maybe you'll have some more. So we want to introduce the idea here of, I'm going to try to sneak this up in here, of a life wheel, right? And this is just an example we found online. And, on this example, you have health, money, personal growth. You got your physical environment, right? Your house and your room, your career, and I would add maybe your mission or your purpose. You feel like you have a life purpose, and throw hobbies on there, family and friends, your marriage, fun and recreation. Like, what are you doing just to have a blast? So when you jot down that list, and here's the idea, I'll show you this again. you can actually start tracking and measuring, right? So you can see on there, let me see this.
There's
You
a
can
shadow
see,
from the phone.
oh no, there's a shadow. So you can see that you can actually measure it, and you rate yourself 1 to 10, and so you can color them and fill it in. Here's a colored example. And so you can kind of just go through and measure and say, well, I'm doing well on this and not so well on the other one. And so I really want you to do this. You can print one out, or you can just draw one and just kind of do a simple one. You can do it on a napkin or whatever you got there, and just kind of fill it in and take an honest assessment. And the reason we have to look at the whole thing, like Rachel and I, we're all about like the holistic approach, the full approach. You have to see every part of your life, because like you see in this colored wheel, if one part is off, let's take the yellow. In this example, it's hobbies or recreation or fun. The orange one is social or friends. So you can tell if that was the wheel on your car, how would that feel going down the highway, right? Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. It would just be so rough. And it's hard to go momentum. It's hard to keep up momentum. It's hard to feel comfortable and good if one of those things are off. But I found in my experience, most of us will kind of know something that's suffering, but we're not really measuring and tracking and trying to improve. And so we end up just clunking along, and we often will feel like we're being dragged, or it's just not working, and we don't know why. Like, why is this not working? Why are the kids not cooperating? Why are they not doing their chores? Why are they not doing their studies? Like, why is there so much contention and fighting? Why do I feel so distanced from my spouse? Like, what is going on? And until we stop and measure that and track it, we're like, oh man, there it is right there. This is causing so many of our problems. And it's true, we've seen it so many times, that one or two things can cause problems in all of the other areas.
Because all of life is interconnected into this whole, right? And I want to kind of emphasize something here, because we can have, we call this, say, the wheel of life, right? And so this would be for the major areas of your life. You're kind of like the 5 elements Greg was talking about, plus, whatever else you find important in your life. We have travel on ours, right? Because we love to travel. But you could take any one of these on this chart and kind of, there's layers to everything, right? Everything in life has layers. You could take any one of these and expand it, and it would then have its own wheel. So say you pick parenting, which is what we're talking about in this video, you now can make a parenting wheel of life, right? You pull that out of the holistic wheel of life, and then you talk about the parenting wheel of life. And you can do that with every area: marriage, finances, social relationships, all of that. But for parenting, what are the key elements that you need to have in your parenting in order to make it smooth, to make progress, to make you feel like this is fun and enjoyable? Challenging, it's challenging because being a parent is a challenge, but you know what? We're making progress and we're moving along here instead of clunking along on our flat tire, right?
So, man, that whole idea is just, I love this idea. You could literally print out, you could print out.
That's getting deep here.
Yeah. So here, little side tangent. Let's go in big here. We're going to give you some bonus. You could literally print out maybe 10 of these, slap them in a binder, and you have one for each major section of your life. And so in your parenting wheel, in my personal parenting wheel, and you can each do it differently, I would have one section for each child, and I would revisit this regularly. We'd have health and fitness in there. We'd have our marriage. We'd have activities, and we'd have learning, and have the kids like engaged in working and learning.
Sorry,
now,
I just had an idea. I have to write it down.
Write it down. As we are assessing, can I give you a loving warning here? See things as they are, not worse than they are. Sometimes we can beat ourselves up and think we're doing a horrible job at everything, and I'm terrible. So be careful not to make it you don't see it as worse than it is. And also don't be kind of blinded and see it better than it is. Like, oh, everything's good. No, marriage is fantastic. Everything's great. And not
or everything would be fine if
if that person would change, then and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm stuck. Like, really take this and say, all right, we want an extraordinary life. We want an extraordinary marriage. We want to be extraordinary parents. What can we do? So now, as you start assessing this and you start going through it, just take the time to evaluate, and you're going to come up with so many great ideas. And you're going to be able to come up with things like, okay, let's see, I'm feeling pretty tired most of the time. I'm kind of dragging. What can I do to increase my energy levels? And you just jot down some ideas. And I promise that's one thing that is a game changer. when you raise your own personal energy levels, maybe it's with exercise or better sleep or better eating patterns, just moving your
better
body,
thoughts and
better thinking,
mindset.
Right? Yeah, because your mental energy is down. And maybe you're just constantly like, oh, it's terrible, so bad, it's horrible. And you just kind of shift that. Those little changes, now you can show up as a parent. You're like, whatever, it's spilled milk, no big deal. We got this because I feel fantastic. And we go through each of those areas. So here's one of the greatest things that we have learned and we love to share and pass on. It's not necessarily our goals or our objectives that make things happen or prevent them from happening. It's our systems. And so literally, in a very real sense, your systems either support or sabotage your goals.
One of our favorite quotes ever is by Archilochus, and he says, we don't rise to the level of our expectations, we fall to the level of our training, which is equivalent to systems. So we may have high expectations for our family, we may have big goals. All of that is important. We're not saying it's not. We need to have that. But having them is not enough. We have to train for them. And training comes down to having systems. Systems are what help us to succeed and to achieve our goals, not just having the goal.
Oh man, I love this stuff so much. So we're going to give a couple examples of systems, and then I want to invite you here. Like the big takeaway for all of us is line up your wheel. Like, what is that wheel? What are the pieces and parts of that wheel? Get it functioning, and then assess it regularly and say, is this moving? Is it moving efficiently? And if there's any area that's off, check your systems. Mm-hmm. So actually, before we do that, I'm going to hit that flywheel thing because I told you we'd do the flywheel. In fact, I'm going to read a definition to you because it's so amazing. So a flywheel is a heavy revolving wheel that's inside a machine. It's used to increase the machine's momentum. So just like row with this, right? See the family or the parenting flywheel is what we're going to talk about today. Parenting flywheel. So it's used to increase the machine's momentum and thereby provide greater stability or a reserve of available power during interruptions. Isn't that our world right now? It's just, we're getting interrupted from every side. It's just the age of distraction and interruption and disruption, right, in families. And so we have to become better, more agile, more on top of it. Our wheel has to be solid during interruptions in the delivery of power to the machine, right? Oh, I love that stuff. So you have this parenting flywheel, and you've got to get systems. So for example,
which is equivalent, basically this idea. So just in case you're getting confused of like, what's this other wheel?
So it's just take this and say, this could be our flywheel, and just it creates momentum, it generates power, it's just working. It's what's running the family, and it's running parenting specifically. So some systems, and I want you to think through every area, what are the systems that are happening automatically in our home? And I promise they are happening. Whether you know it or not, every one of us has systems in place. We may not have chosen them deliberately, but they're happening every day.
They may be systems of sabotage, but we do have systems.
So they're in place, and we need to assess, like, okay, what are we doing regularly? For example, what is your system for going to bed? Do you have bedtime routines, bedtime patterns, rituals, habits that are actually working? Many people are up late watching movies or scrolling on social media. There are all kinds of blue light going into their brain. They're eating really late at night, and they're staying up too late. And so then that system they're not sleeping very well, and they're not getting enough sleep. And so morning rolls around, and they want to wake up, right? They want to get up and have a good solid morning routine and start their day right before the kids get up. So your first conscious thing isn't some kid like, hey, help
me,
right? And you're
me.
like, no, more demands. You have to wake up right into the demands. So we want to wake up early, we want to have a morning routine, so we wake up energized and alive and excited, but our evening system is sabotaging our
morning
sleep
success.
And our morning success. And so then the morning starts off rough. You feel like you're chasing the day. You're frustrated. Now you feel guilty. You're kind of beating yourself up. And then you see how the flywheel's
mad at the kids.
Yeah.
And frustrated with them when they spill the milk.
And then you're like, wait a minute. I
happened
never wanted
today.
to be this kind of parent. I don't want to be the grumpy, angry parent. Mm-hmm. This is not who I am. Why am I being so impatient and so grumpy? Why am I so unpleasant to be around? And then we spread that, and guess what the kids do? They take it and spread it to each other. And then you're sitting there going, this isn't the family we dreamed of when we were engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not the family life. And there's these little systems.
And I want to point something out here because I know that I have been in this place before, and I think a lot of moms have. I don't know about dads, but maybe, where we end up beating ourselves up thinking that we just aren't nice people, or we're not good people, or we're not a good mom, or, you know, all the other things we tell ourselves, when the reality is we are good people. Like, we have good intentions. We have good goals and dreams and visions. That is our goodness. What we don't have is good systems. And it's actually the systems that are sabotaging us. Not that we are necessarily a victim, right? We still have the power to choose in every moment. But the point is, it's a lot easier to do the right thing and make the good choices and be more kind and loving and patient when we have the systems in place that help us succeed. Because willpower, right, is it's
an exhaustible
resource, right? You can use up willpower. So if you're relying on your willpower alone to help you be kind and patient and loving, it will run out. So you have to put the systems in place that help you succeed, so you're not relying on willpower. You're relying on your habits. You're relying on your training, right? We don't rise to the level of our expectations. Our expectations are to be kind and loving and patient. We don't rise to those expectations. We fall to the level of our training. We are as patient as we train ourselves to be by having the right systems in place.
And the same is true for every one of our children and everything that they do. If they're doing something chronically or perpetually, it all comes back to the training. Now,
and to the system.
And to the system. The system is the
we
training,
kind of
right?
use that word interchangeably.
And so you might be looking at it, and you might want to blame the kid. You might think something's wrong with the child. You might think something's wrong with you. And this can be a hard pill to swallow, but you step back and say, wait a minute. They've been trained that way. They've been conditioned to do that. Our system is perpetuating sabotage.
Even if that just means they're not getting enough sleep and they're not eating the right things to help them operate at their best, right? It could be that simple, that's what's causing the bad behavior. That's what's causing the butting of the heads and all of this stuff that's going on. May just come down to the fact that we're all operating on lower levels because we are not systematized enough to have the good sleep, the good thoughts, the good emotions, the good food. All of that it's the small things that are the big things.
Whoa.
All these small things build upon themselves and create either something that's extraordinary or something that's less
mediocre.
Or worse.
Or worse, yeah. It's just suffering. Isn't this stuff
This might
awesome?
sound like a crazy new concept, like, what? Really? But this is what we have seen again and again as we've worked with families around the world. It's these little things and these shifts in systems that end up making the biggest difference.
Whoa, I love this stuff, and I hope you're enjoying this. And I know some of you right now are like, okay, yeah, Dennings, like, I know what I need to do. I'm not doing it. Like, how do I do it? How do I get it done? Right? And Rachel is just a rock star champ of this. And she created all these systems and charts and chores, even contracts for our family, that we implement these things and we are consistent with them. And then the kids just wake up and they're like, oh, this is just what we do. This is how we do life. This is what I need to do before I can do that. And it just starts to work so smoothly. We share those things. And you guys, we have tons of resources on extraordinaryfamilylife.com. It's where the resources are. We have a podcast called Extraordinary Family Life Podcast. And we love this. We geek out on it. We do our parenting coaching to share all these things because they just work. But what I want to share right now is let's just go through and think through just a few systems that with some little tweaking that you're like, oh yeah, I could totally do that. Let's say, for example, you wanted to be healthier. You wanted to maybe lose some weight or get in shape. You want the kids to
have more energy.
Have more energy. You want them to have more energy and feel better. Never, ever, ever underestimate how much the food we're consuming is affecting all of our behavior and our feelings. When families come to me and one of the children is really struggling, the very first thing I look at is food. Because if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, right? What we're putting in here goes directly up into our brains, and it'll have a direct effect on our brains, either positive or
biochemical
negative.
effect.
Yeah. So you're literally changing your biochemistry in your kids by, the toxins or the processed foods or the sugars or the caffeines or just the junk in there. It's affecting us.
And if we think about it, I mean, dopamine, when our brain produces dopamine, that's what helps us to feel happy. And if our brain produces cortisol, that's what causes us to feel stressed. Now, our thoughts and what's happening around us can cause us to think stressful thoughts, which then changes our biochemistry and produces cortisol, which then makes us feel more stressed. So it's like this loop of, negative feedback that's happening. The same happens with dopamine. If we think happy thoughts, then it produces dopamine, which then produces more happy feelings. Now, food also affects that biochemistry. So whenever we're eating certain things, and it can be different for every person, but it may be producing chemicals in your body that are changing your biochemistry and affecting how you feel and how you think. This is why food can be so powerful.
Wow. So literally, we have food systems, right, in our family. You're like, we're trying to eat better. We want to eat better. I keep telling the kids, and I keep telling myself, well, eat better. And yet the pantry is stocked with junk, right? The counters are covered with cookies and donuts and junk food. There's your system, right? So it's super hard to sit there with your counter covered going, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to have that.
That never works for me.
It's not going to
Never
work.
works. He might be able to do that, not me. If there's cookies on the counter, I'm going
have
to eat
one.
them.
And so then I always ask, well, how'd the cookie that? Well, we got them. I'm like, well, who bought that? Well, I did. And there's the shopping system, right? And so the food comes in and affects the way we behave and feel. The thoughts, like Rachel said, the thoughts come in. We have thinking systems. We might go through the day repeating negative thoughts about ourselves or about the kids, or saying things a lot, and now the kids have picked up, and I'm not good enough, or I'm ugly, and life's hard and miserable. This is terrible. Nothing ever works out for me. Money doesn't grow on trees. We never have enough. Right? These are thought systems that produce cortisol, really change our biochemistry, and we feel junky. And it starts to happen. Another thing with that is the stories we tell ourselves. Almost everything we do or don't do is based on a story we tell ourselves, and so we have story systems, right? What stories are we telling ourselves of why we do things or why we don't do things? Are they excuses? Are we blaming others or blaming circumstances? Or have we been telling ourselves this story of like, oh, I can't do that. I've tried everything. It just doesn't work. And do we need to stop and say, change the story, right? It's awesome. And we can do it with chores. How about your chore systems? How about the routines your children have in the morning, midday, and in the evening, and family routines? How about work and career? And I know some of you are just hustling. You're ambitious like we are. You're go-getters and high achievers. How do you set up systems so you literally can win at work and at home? And you can show up here and show up here and not just give leftovers, right? How do you organize and balance your life? How are you using your time? Time management is another huge problem I'm seeing now. People just are really struggling with time management. What systems do you have in place? I was just with a coaching client this week. It was yesterday. And he's like, the very first thing I do in the morning is check my phone and jump on social media. And I was like, how's that working for you? It's like, oh, it's terrible. It just doesn't work. My first thing, I'm on other people's agenda. Then I'm on my mailbox. And I'm just struggling and I'm wasting time. And I know I don't feel productive or happy. And I don't like it. I'm like, there it is. Your system is the phone's right there. You pick it up first thing and go. That's your system. It's sabotaging your morning. So, man, we could go on and on and on about this. We'll wrap up here. But I just want to share that again. Your systems, our systems, are either supporting our success or sabotaging it. And as we go through and track, again, you cannot know. It is impossible for you to have a real true assessment on what's going on in your life if you're not tracking it, if you're not aware of it, and you're not assessing it and measuring it, and just making little tweaks. We're just inviting you to do little 1% tweaks and watch how it can totally change and transform the trajectory of your family.
Well, and again, just to close this up, is that
we have kids out there. You
we
can
have
hear.
some kids
There's
out
proof.
there. Yeah. Our parenting is affected by everything in our life. We may not realize that. We may not be aware of it. But it is affecting us. If our marriage is off, if our finances are off, if our health and fitness and energy levels are off, All of these things on the wheel of life, it is affecting our parenting. So to take this assessment of our life and the different areas of our life and to start making small improvements is how we can gradually over time make improvements in our parenting and, of course, every area of our life, which then helps us to live this extraordinary life that we want to live.
Yes, you guys can do this. We love you. We honor you. We know how challenging it can be and how rewarding and fun it can be. Parenting can be absolutely fantastic. So set up those systems, roll with it. If you need help, we live for this. You can tell we live for this. This is what we do. So reach out to us. You can ask us questions, connect with us, jump on, get the resources, and let's all do this together. Let's get it together and live extraordinary family lives. Reach upward.